we always do about this time. Sucker shit.
You know, man, I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
So, I talked about it before. We've been on here, man, how much I love music, my record collection, this and that, and whatever. And I'm into all kinds of different music, man. I don't care. So R&B, of course, hip hop, jazz, Miles Davis, is one of my favorites. Listen to a little gospel, or going all the way back, Mahalia Jackson with my grandmother, everything, man, And no matter what, across all genres, they have what they call a one-hit wonder, okay? For those that don't know what a one-hit wonder is, for y'all young folks, that's that song that you made that was hot. It could have been regional, national, or worldwide, but it was your one song, and you never heard a second song pretty much from that artist. For example, the Jacksons may be the most famous R&B family in music, but all you ever heard Rebbie ass was singing Centipede, right? I ain't never heard Adina Howard sing Nothing But a Freak Like Me, right? That's they one. So when they come out and they on the bill at the performance, you know exactly what the hell they gonna sing. Your cousin, he coming out, he gonna sing, this is how we do it, right? If Montel don't sing that, they booing his ass off the stage. That's how it works, right? I notice that in relationships, I see a lot of one-hit wonders. I done seen a woman fall for the same song from a dude over and over again for 30 or 40 years. He gonna sit up next to your ass on the couch watching 90 Day Fiance, and the next day you online looking for wedding dresses, right? Or the worst dude is the best friend dude.
I'll take you home.
He's playing the good guy next to you just so he could bust it open. He will stand there for years next to you, waiting for that one day, in case of emergency, not break glass, break ass. You one-hit wonder niggas, you on some sucker shit.
Nope, didn't see that one coming either.
Yeah,
Didn't see that one.
it definitely. Wonder.
Here we are. Welcome to Skinny Black's Lounge. My name is Rob, aka Skinny Black, and to my right,
Tubbs. Yeah.
cool. And to his right,
JT, period of silence. I'm on.
and to Ren's left.
Got a new
Lebo.
couch.
He got the upgraded seat up in here and
Yeah,
sofa
yeah,
and
yeah.
shit. Listen, tonight we want to get into a couple of things. Before we do, I want to shout out the Gathering Spot. That's where we are, Gathering Spot LA, West Adams, big ups. But let's get into a couple of things. The first thing we want to touch up on is who coaches the coach? Where do black men go in time of hardship, when the shit get tough? If you're a mentor, if you're a coach, whether that be life coach, whether that be sports coach, where do black men get to go when we need some coaching or some mentoring, some help, some support, a space that's safe that we can emote and kind of get shit off our shoulders and find safe places to land and recharge? Ren.
I think that goes back to our previous conversation about your sphere of influence and then creating a circle of people to cultivate an honest dialogue and beyond just a safe space of expressing yourself and things that are on your mind, also creating a space to where you, in the event that you need some pushback, some honest pushback, they're there to give it to you. And you have created enough trust to be willing to accept that critique and then take it, process it, and put it into action. That requires some training to find that and to cultivate that circle of people that can put you in that space. And it takes years to actually do that. And if you haven't had any form of guidance to even be able to discern people of principle and character, That's a very difficult space to be, which is why sports are such an incredibly viable and important space for people in general, because it sets up these artificial set of circumstances and these parameters and you apply all these elements of teamwork, and you come in there and you're supposed to be working for the collective and surrendering yourself to the team, and there you can simulate these different circumstances where your character can be revealed, like the John Wooden quote, where sports doesn't create character, it reveals it. Those set of circumstances, then you get into these spaces. Now, when you don't have sports or you don't have a forum like that, like a social construct, you have to create these spaces for young men, and there aren't a lot of them in the Black community. So, yeah.
Where do many young men or Black men, not just young and old, go? To hell with a scholarship, depression. They go inward, they spiral. A lot of us go to our mothers, and for many of us, that's useless as well, because they don't get us like that. And sometimes it's difficult, and this is no shade, but sometimes it's difficult for someone that sees you as their little boy to imagine your manhood. And it's the beauty of motherly love, but it's also the curse of motherly love. Where can or should we go? To piggyback off of what Ren just said, the first thing you have to do is turn inward, because you can't cultivate an honest circle without being honest with yourself. So you can't be the only liar in an honest group. How can you get the feedback? How can you get what you need if you're not honest about your deficiencies, if you're not honest about your worries, your shortfalls, or even if we want to talk positively, your aspirations and goals? What's really on your heart. Not what you have to do, but what you dream of doing. Because those are two different things. And I would advise for you to find a man or men that you look up to. So many times I see people want to be I'll put it to you this way. I'd rather have a modest house in an expensive neighborhood than the biggest house in a poor neighborhood. And I see so many people bragging about their 5-bedroom house, but it's right next to a crack house. I would rather have a 1-bedroom studio in a multi-million-dollar arrangement. And I pride myself, surrounding myself by men that I look up to, and I have no problem saying that, because they have aspects of their personality and their person and accomplishments that I haven't done or that I want to do. So, and lastly, before I shut up, that ties into this. You have to humble yourself, because you can't hear what you're not listening to.
Wow. And we've been very fortunate to have some amazing men in our lives. Brother, the man you call Pops, your Uncle Mel, my uncles have provided some sort of examples. But if you don't have that, where do you go? Who do you seek out when you know you need that? You know it's something missing. How and who do you seek that from?
I mean, it's incumbent upon us to be active in spaces where there are young people. We get so caught up in our own self-advancement and career and our family, and you really have to go above and beyond your family. Like if you're not taking anything on outside of your family, then you're not doing a service to the community that you say you serve. Like our partner named Darren Early, he has an organization called Bridge Builders, and Darren had 5 daughters, 1 son, and Darren was like, man, I got all these daughters. I got to go out there and make sure there's enough young men who are viable enough to marry
Yep.
my daughters. And he created an organization, and he created a whole mantra and dialogue to train young men and so they can grow into healthy individuals, healthy young men who know how to emote and know how to lead and know how to provide and are in pursuit of growth, constant growth, who want to evolve, who want to change. And like to piggyback on what JT was saying, being honest with yourself, you have to know where you've come from. You have to have a proper assessment of where you stand, and you have to have an understanding of, man, where do I want to evolve? What do I want to be? What do I want to be? And what kind of person, what kind of human being do I want to be, and how I interact in the world, and how I effectuate change amongst the people that I care about. Yeah.
I'm still working on that emoting part, but I'm not that good at that one.
Yeah, we spent 40 years not doing it. You know what I mean? I don't know that it's going to fully manifest the way they want us to. You know what I mean?
Man, listen, I'm just, I said you have to be humble and recognize your shortcomings.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm midget-like when it comes to emoting. Okay? But,
Little person like or midget like?
No, midget-like.
Oh, okay, cool. Just checking.
What?
Just checking.
Piss off the 3 midgets that's listening?
Hey, we got 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Cool.
They're all the same family. Little
There's
people.
3 more than I knew.
Yeah, little people alone be. But it's we have a lack of masculine men. Masculinity is at an all-time low. And as a father of a son and a daughter, but specifically a daughter, I have spent time thinking, what kind of man will be available to her when the time comes? Based on what I'm seeing in today's climate. So many of our young men are being raised as girls with penises. And we're not the same. And that's no disrespect to anyone, but I struggle with issues with my daughter because I've never been a 16-year-old young lady. So I go ask for help. I'll call my sister and be like, hey, we had this conversation, give me a little guidance, da-da-da-da. But I'm also humble enough to know what I don't know and ask for that assistance. And one of the roadblocks that I've seen is that we have a disconnect in our relationships sometimes between black men and black women, is that they think they know us like that.
True.
And you haven't taken the time to study and learn about us.
Right.
And so what we can provide a young man looks so different than what you provide as a mother, as a woman. Our love looks totally different. Our love looks like boundaries, structure, discipline, a firm hand, a deeper voice sometimes, because some of y'all chicks. But anyway, I was like, damn, that's a nice goatee, Miss Johnson. But
baritone.
Yeah, like Barry White's auntie. But in all seriousness, we have to recognize what we both bring to the table. It's so combative right now. Just because something is good doesn't make what you give bad.
Right.
No, they're both good. They're different. But without both of them, it's not good.
Right.
Right? You got gumbo with sausage in it only. I was like, you got meat soup. That's not gumbo. So that's the problem. We're not putting the right ingredients in. And to go back to the beginning of your question, if we had the 100% answer of where do you go, we'd all be multimillionaires in this room.
Man.
Because that is one of the most important and unanswered questions in our community.
Well, I have an idea about the issue that we're having. So let me read a couple of things from y'all. Tell me if you can pick this out.
Okay.
Spawn. Blade, Black Panther, Black Lightning, Luke Cage, Black Dynamite,
Black Dynamite.
Miles Morales, right? Drumline, Higher Learning, Cooley High, Remember the Titans, The Wood, Dope, Juice, Roll Bounce, ATL, Remember the Titans, House Party, The Inkwell. What do you guys notice?
I mean, I would say very few of what you described are things that are grounded in reality. You know, there's a bunch of fantasy in there, and then the other ones are kind of superficial dives into black manhood and growth. You know what I mean? So we're left to a space of entertainment to create these influences, and they can be aspirational, you know, but it's the experience of the tangible experience of interacting with someone and seeing them and seeing how they move. I'll give you a perfect example. I was in 8th grade going to school in the San Fernando Valley, and it was I had two black male teachers. One ended up having to leave the school because he had to have an operation, so he left early. The other one was a PE teacher. Super cool brother, you know what I'm saying? Cold Adidas sweatsuits out there every day. He had a Corvette Stingray.
I think he dressed like Run DMC
It was
every day going
orange.
to work.
It was orange, and it said OJ on the license plate, like orange juice. You know what I'm saying? He had an octoroon son that was my age. You know what I mean? But he was a cold cat. It was still cold cat. Curl perfection. You know what I'm saying? But then I had a couple weeks into the second semester, had this teacher come in from, I want to say he may have been from Alabama, and he was Alabama or Mississippi. Had to draw, but the cat had on Ralph Lauren
Alabama.
Ralph Lauren shirt, Ralph Lauren button-down shirt, knit tie, the polo pants, Sperry topsiders, and pair of Argyle socks, right? And he came in ice cold every day. That visual of just watching him come in with a leather bag, his materials, his level of organization, how he dressed. I wore almost the exact same fit to my graduation. You know what I mean? Just based on that. Now, later on, this guy's working in the district. I'm working in the district as a teacher and things like that. Meet him. He is very effeminate, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that. You know, rise completely differently. But the visual of his deportment was incredibly important for me. Yeah. Incredibly important for me just to see that. You know what I mean? Even if it's in manhood as we've evolved into completely different spaces, and how he got out was completely different, you know? And then to be working in the same spaces as him, but of course he was, you know, on a different level, you know what I mean? But just to see, I was like, wow. To interact with him now, and then to just remember what that influence is, and I had to make sure I told him, like, yo, man, you know, this is what you did for me. That it is so important to have something to physically put hands on and see for these young men. It's incredibly important.
Yes.
Well, that brings up something interesting, because as you were saying that, I realized that you had two more black male teachers than I've ever had. And I think that my story is similar, because I think it's less than 5% of the teaching profession nationwide that are black men. So 10% of the country still believes Tupac is alive. But so we half of the Tupac believers, less than. So teaching and education. So is there any wonder why we gravitate towards sports or music, because that's where our children see black men. They don't see us in education. They don't see us professionally. That's why it's even so much more important and impactful that we stretch out beyond our families, because I know individual families and silos that are doing great. I know pockets of communities that are doing fantastic. But I believe it was Minister Farrakhan who said you can't rise above the condition of your people. And as a people, we are far behind in the education system. We are too far ahead in the jail system, all right? And we need to make effective change, right? And as men, it's our job to lead, right? And I hear right now a bunch of sisters cheering, yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's right up until they see what male leadership looks like. Because it's not gonna look like yours. You know?
You mean like getting together and wearing a bunch of suits and then degrading the men that did that just because?
Oh my God.
You mean like that? Like that whole deal on, we need to stop black men from getting together. They need to go out and do something. They need to go out there and create an organization and things like that.
Well, I'll give you a real life example. We work on this mentoring program for boys, and this year we have now 38 boys, 7th to 12th grade. And I was mentioning it, having drinks with a few folks, and then and I mentioned to a couple of ladies, because I know they have sons. I said, hey, is your son in high school age? Get him in, get it going. And then one of the ladies said, what do you do for girls? And I said, well, that's not my program, that's not my mission. And she was like, why don't you do something for girls? I said, well, let me ask you a question. When you watch Black Girls Rock on TV, did you yell because there was no boys in the band behind them? I said, it's called Black Girls Rock, and I'm happy for Black Girls Rock. So I made Black Boys Rock because there's not one on TV.
Right.
I said, this is my version of Black Boys Rock.
Right.
And I was like, and don't you have a son? Why are you worried about the daughter? You don't have one. So it is imperative that we do this for us.
Yeah.
Because I know this. I don't know a lot, but I know ain't nobody coming to save us.
That's right. And so to that point, the reason I read those off is because narratives matter, right? So as we think about what's on TV, what's out there being portrayed, right? I had wrote down some shows earlier, because when I started, I was thinking, okay, we got Black Panther, we got Barbie, we got The Shy. And I was like, oh, Black Panther 2, Wakanda. Like, oh, wow, the protagonist ain't even in that one. Okay, cool. So Barbie, okay, they shitting on dudes. Okay, cool. And The Shy ain't a positive black male dude on that show. The most positive black male dude on that show is one of the chicks, actually, which is sad, right? So when we talk about narratives and how they matter, if we talk about a group of folk, and I heard this definition of community. It's a community or a collection or a network of families. So if we're gonna be a community, we're gonna be about family, but yet we have a high number of black men, even though black men are as a subgroup, are in their children's lives more than anybody else. Right? What do kids see outside of their house? What do they see on TV? What do they see on movies? What do they see? How are they portrayed? So when we talk about the stuff that I was looking for actually were, when I thought about Cooley High, was these not rites of passage, but the coming of age stories for black men.
Definitely.
Little black boy. Where do my sons get a chance to see themselves in a positive, storyline of where they have challenges, they learn to grow, they find some positive tools, and they overcome, right? Where does that exist? right? So it's not Boys in the Hood. It's, Roll Bounce, Remember the Titans. I don't know, Juice, House Party.
Man, don't be dissing Remember the
the
Titans.
Wood.
What, Coach Boone? What is pain? French bread. Keep going.
So narratives matter.
We want some more. We want some more.
So how do you build up? You funny as hell, bro. What type of society of black men do we have when black boys don't see themselves as powerful, as intelligent, as strong, as capable, as being the protagonist or the hero of their story? And to the point you said earlier, and to the point of the fathers with daughters, what type of men are going to be available for them in the first place to even build out families and connect with families and make communities?